Kurt Busch announced his retirement, and I'm sad and happy about that. You know, I hate that Kurt is ending his career prematurely. I know that he, like everybody, would love to end whatever they're doing on their own terms and make that decision for themselves. But in our sport, sometimes that decision's made for you by multiple reasons, whether it's injury or performance or the team going in a new direction, a young driver pushing you out, whatever it may be. But I really am proud of Kurt for sort of realizing where he is, having some self-awareness, listening to the doctors, and, you know, also he is recognizing the natural, you know, cycle of this sport. And, you know, when I was going through what I went through in 2016, I raced that final year. All of those decisions were made with Alex Bowman's future in mind. Even the decision to come back and run that final year in 2017, we all sat down and said, hey, Alex, this is going to be your car, but I need you to wait a year. You know, and you're going to get to do some things. You're going to go drive an Xfinity car and but you're going to sit around a lot too. And I just need to do this one last year, right? But I felt that as I was watching Alex drive my car at the back end of 2016, and maybe Kurt's done this too, right? As Kurt's been at the racetrack and watched the other drivers drive his car. As hard as it is to watch another driver drive your car, you also watch that driver bring in this youthful excitement, this passion, this determination to make it. And I bet that Kurt sees that in these younger drivers. He sees it in Ty Gibbs. He probably sees it in Reddick, knowing Reddick's coming over there to drive. And he's looking at them and going, yeah, they're hungrier than I am today. These guys, I can't stand in their way here, right? I got to get out of the way of this natural cycle of progression. And that's kind of the way I felt too about Alex. You know, I looked at our team, and I bet Kurt may be doing this. I looked at my team, and Kurt maybe looks at his team and goes, you know, they deserve this opportunity with Reddick. And they're excited about this new, fresh opportunity with Reddick, right? And so while if Kurt were to get healthy and stay in the car, he would be amazing and do great things. But he's also understanding and recognizing that it's someone else's time, you know? And so I picked up on that a little bit in some of the words he was using in the media and some of the things he said. I thought that was really cool because that way Kurt also doesn't have to put this whole thing on the injury. And it sort of gives you, as the individual having to step away, a little relief. You know, that there's multiple reasons here, multiple good things. There's some silver lining. There's all kinds of various components that will be affected by this in a positive way. You know, that this whole thing doesn't have to be sad and depressing. And so I was really glad to hear that from Kurt, because this type of situation can be really damning and hard on a driver. And you know, Kurt could have been walking around with a cloud over him and in a really bad space, but it appears that, you know, he's sort of channeling some positivity and using some of the positive things that'll be coming out of this as a way to get him through it. And I hope that he is able to get healthy, and I hope that he is able to do these bucket list items that he mentioned, go do whatever he wants to do, drive a car, whatever it is, a trip he wants to take, a place he wants to go see, something experience that he wants to go through, whether it's even racing related, it doesn't matter. But I just hope that you know, whatever it is he wants to do, he can go do it. A lot of times we get burnt, you know, we get kind of in a state of depression, and even though we had these things on our list or had this intention and wanted to set out and go do these things, we end up going home and sitting on the couch and not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And not doing anything.
You got to find purpose. You got to find purpose in the post-racing career, and that's still to be determined. I hope he finds it.
Yeah, I think he will. He's very busy in terms, what I've been witnessing out of him over the last several months, even going through his rehab and whatnot. He's busy day to day, right? He's occupying himself with many things and going to places and doing stuff, and still actively involved in all his responsibilities off track in terms with his partners and sponsors and charitable initiatives. So I think that he won't be a guy that ends up stuck on the couch wondering what to do with the rest of his life. I do not see Kurt doing that, but
I want my vote for him, and just for the ironical part of this is for him to become a NASCAR official or lead the competition department one day. Would that not just be funny? That's what I'm pulling for. I want on the record to say that's what I'm not saying next year. I'm not even saying 2 years. I'm saying one day run competition for NASCAR.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that is a hell of an idea. I never even thought about that, Mike. But damn, knowing the detailed way he is about his racing and test, when he goes to tests and so forth, he's super thorough with his feedback and very knowledgeable of the car and understanding of what's going on. Pretty smart guy when it comes to just the technology and so forth.
Yeah,
he's got an interesting mind that I could see would probably maybe benefit NASCAR in the technical side if he was a part of the competition in terms of the officiating and so forth. Whether he'd want to do that, I don't know, but I could see Kurt Busch succeeding there, possibly even maybe one day being up in the NASCAR booth and in a race director position or something like that.
Regardless of what he does, he is a great communicator. He does actually put thoughts together and communicates them. And listen, we take that stuff for granted, but there's not a lot of people that are really good at that, and he is one of them. Yeah. He actually does.
The NASCAR booth where the race control has many past drivers in it. Chad Little, Elton Sawyer, just to name a few. If you like that conversation, you ought to listen to the entire download, because the Dale Jr. download is available on all major podcast platforms.